We're on? You ready? Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the disability meeting for December 2018. Please make your introductions for the record.
Stephanie Zimberg, representing Police Commissioner O'Neill.
John Dorsett, designee for control staff grants.
Cynthia Collins, designee for Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Phil Dukes, designee for Finance Commissioner Jacques Gia.
Brian Berge, Law Department by invitation.
Marta Ross, Law Department by invitation.
Joe Alejandro, and I have the proxy of Pat Lynch, John Puglisi, and Juan Zubizarreta.
Chris McGrath, PBA by invitation.
Mark Marino, PBA by invitation.
Rod Shaw, PBA by invitation.
Anthony Bradley, designee at Mullins, SBA.
Gary DeRosa, SBA, present by invitation.
Dick Scipione, present by invitation as counsel, SBA, LBA, CEA.
Keith McGillian, designee for Tucker, LBA.
Roy Richter from the CEA, and I just want to say congratulations, Joe Alejandro, as second vice president of the PBA.
Thank you, Roy.
Speech! No.
I was saying, for those who thought I was leaving, sorry to disappoint you.
Kenny Sparks, DEA, designee for Mike Palladino.
Karen Paxton, DEA by invitation.
Artie Williams, DEA by invitation.
Sherry Chan, Chief Actuary.
Eli Kleiman, Chief Surgeon, filled by invitation.
Bob Sensky, Stead Pension Fund by invitation.
Kevin Holloran, Pension Fund by invitation.
Anthony Antonellis, Medical Division, present by invitation. Oh, sorry.
Amaya. Mayor Rose O'Connell, Department of Finance, present by invitation.
Eileen Clark, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Yes, please, Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Stanley Thomas, Police Pension Fund by invitation.
Nicole Jambrisi, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
John Flynn, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Retired Police Pension Fund.
Angela Rodriguez, Pension Fund, by invitation.
Nina Lawrence, Pension Fund, by invitation.
Anthony Randall, Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Alyssa Roca, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation. Lisa Garcia, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation.
Okay, so to the agenda here. Page 1 to confirm the next meeting date, Wednesday, January 9th. Pages 2 through 8.
Nothing of a controversial nature, Joe. So move.
Thank you, Kenny. Okay, page 9, resolution regarding a data request from the PBA. So I think we need a roll call vote.
Okay, PBA,
PBA votes yes.
DEA,
Yes.
SBA,
Yes.
LBA,
Yes.
CEA,
I know.
Commissioner of Finance,
Nope.
Controller,
No.
Police Commissioner,
No.
and the Mayor.
No.
Can we change your vote? Change your vote.
Okay.
No.
DEA votes no,
Sorry.
so the motion does not carry.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, page 10, resolution regarding resolution for checkbook NYC.
So, Joe, this is a resolution that we bring every quarter to the board. However, I understand that there may be some changes to technology that make this resolution obsolete. So if it pleases the board, if we could take action on this matter today, and then I can come back to you in possibly a month or two to tell you whether or not I can confirm that this is an obsolete technology and we no longer need to pass the resolution. Would that be acceptable to the board?
I just have a concern that the new technology, things tend to go into autopilot, and without the approval of the board, and I have concern about information going out without our authority. It has to be checked upon periodically to make sure that it's doing what we would want it to be done.
That is completely understood, so that's why I'm asking for, if we could just take action on this, and then I can have the appropriate people, possibly even address this board from the Controller's Office if necessary, to discuss the technology and whether or not this is still a resolution that we need to
Okay. So
perhaps they could also give us information about how the new technology is going to interface with the payroll data and how controls are in place to protect it if it's a new
Yeah, I believe it was a file that was actually sent from the pension fund to the city's record keeping system. But I'm not the tech person, so obviously I'd probably need to defer to the technology side of my office to explain that.
So given that explanation and the follow-up that we expect, then, so I make a motion to so move the resolution for an extended period, 3-month extension.
We have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, unanimous, motion carries. Thank you.
All right, page 11, regarding a resolution authorizing and requesting the control of the city of New York as custodian of the funds of the police pension fund to invest said funds for the period commencing January 1st, 2019 and ending March 31st, 2019.
I think this is a great resolution, and I commend the board for writing it in such a well-written way.
Okay, so given that there was input on this resolution from the board, we'd like to make a motion to so move the resolution for the period requested.
We have a second. That's CEA. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
No, thank you.
No,
Thank you for thanking us, thank you. All right, pages 12 through 13, a discussion regarding ILPA fiduciary duties.
So I brought this to the attention of the board. I was, Chris Hayes, who is the legislative liaison with the ILPA group in DC, who the systems are a member of, reached out to me. There's a rulemaking process at the SEC right now where they're looking at potentially weakening oversight of fiduciary duties for investors. And some of the money managers on Wall Street have been pretty aggressively advocating that institutional investors don't need the protection of the SEC and that we can contract away all of our fiduciary duties and conflicts of interest. And ILPA, as a representative of a great number of institutional investors and alternative investments where this would impact, reached out to me and asked me, since I'm the co-chair of the ABA, the American Bar Association Institutional Investor Committee, if we could do something. I went to the ABA and they let the hedge fund committee do a letter to the SEC but wouldn't allow us because the hedge fund committee had already sent their letter advocating that institutional investors didn't need protection. So ILPA's gone and they've contacted and they have members across the country. Large institutional investors and pension funds are signing on to this letter to be submitted to the SEC. Just another reminder that there are institutional investors. We're not really pari passu with the guys on Wall Street. They kind of dictate the terms to us, and we do need some protection. When I was in DC at a meeting and I was with one of the general counsels of the SEC, he looked at me and he kind of quizzically said, you know, I'm starting to see your point, Cindy. You guys aren't riding around in yachts and don't have homes in the Hamptons. And all the guys writing the letters saying that you don't need protection and, you know, we should let the contract stand. They have 2 private jets, not just 1. So he encouraged me to work with ILPA and see, you know, what we could do, even though we didn't have the support of the ABA, and to reach out to the commissioners and just to make sure that they heard the voice of the institutional investors. So that's what this, it's a sign on just as the, you know, as the different boards. And we're presenting this to all the New York City boards and other big institutional investors around the country are going to sign off on it. You know, and I can certainly, I'll update everybody with who all the signatories are once the letter's presented, which will probably be January, February.
So given that the controller is the investment advisor to the fund, what was the controller having like?
We have no issues with this. We've been supportive of the standards for many years now, and had a great hand in crafting a lot of the ILPA fee disclosures, and have been very active with the organization. So we'd be supportive of this measure that the board sees fit to join.
So I would just request that we take a little time and to review the ILPA standards, and if there's any other questions, we could follow up. But maybe we could take that up at the investment meeting, because we don't need to vote on it today. I don't think there's a time of essence here. So
yeah, we can certainly put it on for Monday. Yeah. And if there's any additional questions about if it would impact anything that's already been done in BAM, we can address those at the SIM as well. I don't think that there's going to be much that they'll be able to add, but,
Or if you wanted anything, from even Chris Hayes from the organization, he said he'd be happy to speak to anybody that had any questions. So,
Yeah.
If you have any questions, I can either forward them or give you his email as well.
Yeah, so considering that, we might vote on it on Monday, but at least the discussion is being had.
Right,
So,
no, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is the discussion on securities litigation protocol.
So Nicole, is this about the laid over request to alter the protocol with respect to the information used by pool?
I believe it is.
Okay, so we had laid over this matter from the SIM. I believe there was some.
Oh, they got to talk louder, Brian.
I'm just gonna remind you we're in public, not attorney-client, so just be mindful.
No, I know, and I believe, that's why I was about to mention, I believe there was a question that the PBA had raised that we wanted to address, but it concerns sensitive matters that we can't really discuss in public.
Brian, you gotta
Speak up.
Oh, sorry. Here I think I'm loud, but I guess not. There was one pending question, but it's not a matter that I can discuss on the public record. I don't know if there is interest in having a vote on the public record now in anticipation of a satisfactory response, or if you would rather have that matter addressed in an attorney-client session prior to a vote.
so I think we should address that matter in an attorney-client session. However, I do believe that there is one additional item on the public calendar that I think would be appropriate to get to.
That's
before we went into attorney-client.
So we'll do attorney-client after the next item.
There's one other.
The discussion on the board minutes. And why don't we do the board minutes, and then we can have the discussion in attorney-client on securities litigation protocol. So next item is discussion on board minutes.
Okay, so I think we agreed that starting in January that we're going to approve the minutes. We're okay with that. We're still looking into how to just get a better system in place and how to search it. And so that's going to take a while. Again, John's staff is working on COPS 2.0. That could be a change order for us. We don't know. We still have to explore how to best get.
Is the potential there that it'll be read online, and then board members can make requested changes to the minutes online?
I would think that that's a good idea, but it's too early for us to tell exactly how that's going to work.
But you're working on it.
Yes.
All right. So now we need to go make a motion to go into attorney-client privilege.
Technically, you're just taking a break.
Okay.
Because you're gonna go back in and vote after your.
All right. So then I request that we go in for a caucus at this point.
All right.
Trustees had a conversation with their statutory counsel, the New York City Law Department, regarding 2 securities litigation matters. Action was made on one, details to be made public at the appropriate time. Also, between this meeting and the last meeting, the Board of Trustees took an electronic vote regarding securities litigation. That was passed unanimously. Details to be made public at the appropriate time.
Okay, so given that, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussing disability matters.
Second. All right, second. Okay. Good. All right.